Welcome to...
How may I help? How may I help?
You have returned. You were not certain.
Our pre-knowledge of your actions ended after Varithmasis left the temple with the aspect in that long-ago age.
We are very glad to see you again.
We deserve some explanations, Solanavi.
Of course. After I left you so many years ago, I stayed true to my oath that I would discover a way for you to find the aspect of death here in this age. I knew that you were both sworn to the Solanavi, so I anticipated that I would be able to find you easily when the time arrived. I was not disappointed. Sylvanas' reports told me that you were the ones I had met before, and now I had merely to watch until you found an aspect, as you were destined to do. You see, the partial inscriptions you found on the ruins were worn away by time. But many years ago, those inscriptions were still legible. I found them and translated them. The Minotaurs had made a last desperate gamble to bring an aspect back in time to replace the one they had lost, and thus save their city from the awful wrath of the Necropolis. This, of course, was their undoing. For in bringing you back, they unwittingly triggered the very events that caused their downfall. Knowing this, I watched and waited. When Sylvanas reported the findings of his new Oathsworn, I realized that the time had finally arrived, and I instructed Sylvanas to send you into the blasted lands, knowing very well what would occur when you arrived at the gate. But I had been there and spoken with you in that long-ago age. I knew the questions you had asked and the reactions you gave. I worried that Sylvanas and his knowledge of the Tower archives might somehow change your reactions, and thus alter the events that I knew. Even a tiny delay in your actions might have resulted in the bone-sharp Titan coming into its full power. If that had occurred, the Solanavi would have been hard-pressed to defeat such a foe, and ultimately, we would have lost our struggle against the Land-Shatter Dragon.
But what of the aspect of death? How will we find it now?
Ah, yes. There is another thing the Tower hid from us all.
Perhaps you would care to explain further, Varithmasis.
The Tower has had the aspect of death in its possession. The entire time.
What?
Yes. We never released control of the aspect after it was used in that past age. We have kept it since that time, and watched carefully for events to come full circle. You are great heroes, Oathsworn. You have helped to save the land in 2 ages now. We of the Tower apologize to you, Oathsworn, for our deceits, but there was no other choice.
We can only say that without your efforts, the land would have been shattered long ago.
Thank you.
Well, yes, but that is... oh, blast! You're welcome!
But this still only accounts for 3 of the 5 aspects. What are we to do next?
For now, journey to Chrysalara, the home of the Draconum.
Shayla knows the way and can lead you there through the northern passage out of the city.
I will meet you there after your travels.
Welcome to the Archives, strangers. I am Dardanus, High Sage of the Draconum. These books and tomes here are encrypted with secret cipher, for which I am the living key. If you wish to know about our archives, you may ask me, and I will tell you. How may I help you?
Good day, traveler. It's rare these days to see anyone here that's neither Draconum nor Scales-worn, especially now that the plague has beset our people. Welcome. When healthy, our culture is a martial one, and to supply them, I run a weapons and armor shop here. May I interest you in anything? Or perhaps you wish to know more about the Draconum. What may I do for you, traveler?
Well met, Oathsworn.
I'm glad you arrived so swiftly.
The matters here at Chrysalara are urgent.
The Draconum are beset by a plague that strikes not just this mountain retreat,
but all over their realm.
weakening them greatly. Out of the allies that stand ready to oppose the Apocalypse cult and their dragon, the Draconum are one of the strongest.
We need to restore them to their strength,
so they can rally their forces in time for the end. Go now to Chrysalara, the speaker and priest for their dragon gods.
He may know a way to find out more about this plague,
which may then lead to ways it can be stopped. Meanwhile, I will consult the Draconum archives to find out what they know of the aspects and the Landshatter prophecies.
Look for me again after you have completed what tasks Chrysalara sets for you.
Welcome to the Sky Temple of Chrysalara. I am Calabra, the speaker and priest for the dragon gods. You must be those that are sworn to aid Sith Valas.
That's right. He has sent us to you so that we might help you find a cure for this plague.
Finding the cure is the ultimate goal. But after consulting our archives and allies, we have found nothing that hints at a similar plague, much less a cure for that plague. We are left to more desperate tactics.
Desperate is pretty much what we do best. What can we do for you?
To understand what I will ask of you, you must first understand a bit about the Draconum people. Long ago, our ancestors were a more brutish race called, simply, the Old Ones. Strong and aggressive, they held a mighty empire, but it all collapsed swiftly when their entire race was stricken by a plague. Most of them died within weeks. Little is known about what happened in those agonizing last days. The plague slew many, and the remaining Old Ones raged at those around them, in a fury at the weak, inglorious demise they faced. So all that history recorded was the thrashing frenzy of their death throes. But some of our ancestors were strong against the disease, and out of those last days came the Makers. Those few survivors that created the chrysalis change to evolve our forms enough to resist the plague that slew the Old Ones. Thus were born the Draconum. The Makers created Chrysalara because of the sacred caverns nearby. And it was they that created the mausoleum to preserve the bodies of the Old Ones that died in the plague. Later, the Makers themselves were laid to rest in that same mausoleum, protected by the spirits of the ancestors they had succeeded.
This mausoleum has something to do with the plague?
No. Not directly. But the spirits of the Makers will remember that ancient plague, and the knowledge they possess may shed light on the plague we face today. It is my hope that this will be the case, but I have no guarantees.
You're the priest. Why don't you go in and talk to your ancestors instead of having us do it?
Normally, the spirits within the mausoleum are at rest and peaceful. But this plague threatens the very existence of our race, and the spirits of our ancestors are furious that the race is threatened once more by inglorious plague. It is a hated ending for any Draconum or Old One. Their spirits are so angry that they tear at everything around them, just as they did in life. There is no reasoning with them, and to enter the mausoleum is to risk your very life. But that is what I must ask you to do. Sith Valas has shared with me the stories of what you have done in Silverholt, Ashton, and Firefeather. I ask that you brave the terrors within the mausoleum and find the Makers. Ask them about the days of the ancient plague, and find out if they know anything that may stop it. Good luck. It may not be much of a hope, but it is our best hope. May the dragons grant grace to your cause. Return to me after you speak to the Makers. I am eager to hear what you learn.